this in a minute. Build 2 lines, open storefronts, outdoor dining, minimum ground floor transparency, streetscape elements, front-facing doorways, parking located in the rear of the building. That sounds familiar to things I've been hearing around here and such. Okay, that's how this goes as well. Number 3, the zoning ordinance includes flexible tools to encourage redevelopment, which includes highlight form-based code. By the way, these underlines here, they are links if you look online that you can go get information, or the sidebar stuff is go as well. Okay. This is more. I'm going to skip past that because Kara's telling me I need to go faster, which I'm going to do. Development process. That's the next area here. The baseline or the foundational element here. Familiar? This table. You guys talk about this for a lot. Predictability. But it's quid pro quo predictability. Okay? In other words, the government is, if you meet standard, is saying to the development community, you come in, we're going to work you through process. No surprises to go. However, you got to show us what you're going to do, and it has to be consistent with what we already have, or what we have in our good regulations, which identify building types and da-da-da-da-da. So it's this between the two parties which actually is compromise and makes the system go. And you go back and forth requesting, providing feedback. Elements here, I will walk you through. Same structure. There is a criteria in the standard. There is expectations, which is guidance to the municipality about what you should have in order to be able to be seen to meet the standard. Recruitment and education, that talks about municipal official recruitment and educating your community. I don't have details here yet because I knew I was going to run short on time. Community prosperity, and finally redevelopment sites. And I mentioned that to have that ready sites, that gives you the ability to bring sites in and have them promoted, including the state's direct involvement and funding of promotional opportunities for those sites. So, what does this ISO certification process look like? It's 3 stages. Stage 1 is the government community has to decide they want to play ball. Okay? As I said before, this is not required. It's voluntary. However, what the state is saying is that, look, we want to invest in communities that are development ready and got all the pieces in place so that the expenditure of the public's funds have the best return. Fiscally, socially, economically, ecologically, physiologically. Okay? So this process says governing body decides they're going to engage. They're going to work through the process leading up to a resolution of the local unit and then execute a memorandum of agreement between them and the state. In this case, it's our economic development corporation. They're the secretary here. Once they do that, then they go through the evaluation process. You might think that it's give us your plans, we tell you yes and no. And to some degree it is. But also, it could be that a community doesn't have enough capacity, or frankly, whether it's budget capacity or personnel capacity. So long as they engage, then the state says, we say to you, we're going to underwrite a part of your process. We're going to help fund you. Not 100%, because 100% is a freebie for the municipality, but we're going to cost share with you to help you and give you background and help you work through, even identifying and assigning the field staff liaison to help work you through on a regular basis to go. So it's not the state saying, come do all this local and we'll talk to you or else. It's the state saying, we want this and we're going to help you, but you got to play ball too, okay? To get through that process based on reporting, governing body. And if in the baseline analysis report, it's coded on a yellow, gray, green, red system. In other words, this criteria, green, they already got it, good, check. This is yellow, okay, it's a progress made, need to do more. Red, you got to focus attention on this municipality, and you got to change or make improvements or update whatever may be done, and then you come back. And it's an iterative process that goes. Okay, which leads then to a final evaluation and certification. And if you think that that's the end of the ball game, no, you're not. Certification is but one start, because over in the ISO world, when you get certified ISO 9001, how long is that certification good for? Maybe 3 years, right? Because what happens in the 3 years is that the industry advances on process or product or technical change. And what often comes out is 9002 or 9000 version 2.0, whatever it might be. All right? And so at recertification time, and here this program is a 3-year window. You get certified, and 3 years later you have to come back and be recertified. And if there's a new set of criteria or changes in criteria, municipality, we're going to help you, but you need to meet those and change standards to go. All right? The reason we've done that is twofold. One is because of advancement in practice and policy and such, both in terms of design and intent. But secondly, we never expected every community to be perfect out of the gate at first certification. Some municipalities are ready to go, they're close to go. Other municipalities, I don't know about you, back home, honest to gosh, some communities have never done a master plan, a comprehensive plan. So how could they be expected to be perfect on all the tools at certification? So the standards I'm showing you, or will show you if you want, is version 1.0. Right now, work is going on the next version so that when recert comes for those communities, this is the new standard set. It's not dramatically different, but what we're doing is adding additional bells and whistles so that communities can go to a base level of readiness or end content to a next level so that they don't have to be perfect out of the gate. They can get to level, but they have to advance to next level or next stage, and finally next stage. That gives them time and capacity to actually make it happen. All this is driven on driving value, aka investment return. The certification is the signal to the development community and yourselves as well. You're open for business. Technical assistance comes to you through the state. We'll cover this in just a minute. Ongoing partnerships. And this has value in part because the evaluators are not the state agency officials. We use third parties to do this. So no one can say, politically, you let these guys go, but you held these guys up. It's done just like any ISO process through a third-party agent or process that makes it happen. What do you get out of this? Okay, more of this. You can get help at pre-development assistance, technical assistance, support and funds. The state directly markets your site. You can go on the web and you can type redevelopment ready, michiganbusiness.org, and you're going to see the whole list of sites from communities that are there with documentation, even RFPs or RFQs, looking for developers with the incentives, yada yada, all the packages to go. The state's field team, which is still in process, we have a ways to go, of actually consolidating across all the agencies into a comprehensive cross-discipline, cross-agency state field team. You get access to those folks. The state will either help you finance, or we, the state itself, run showcase events for developers in the community, promotion, training, and networking. And now, here's the catch. Not the catch, but the key. Just like ISO, which sets you at a level that means that you, the purchaser, can buy your product, your widget, and know that it has quality, which means that you are at top priority. Same thing here. This is one of the key drivers of the system. Remember those circle images, the $570 million across state agencies, across those programs? All of them have been, almost all of them, have been set on a criteria basis to say, first priority for any application expenditure comes to communities that are certified. I want you to think about how that sorts out the field. Okay? What it does is it establishes the collection of municipalities that have gone through, developed themselves, and invoked aspects of good form, good planning, good development, capital improvement, capital budgeting, many of the things you're talking about here now, into a holistic set so that the investment, not just of the public's money, but the public's in conversation with the private's money is going to return the best investment. Financially, socially, ecologically, physiologically. There's one I missed, I forgot. Okay? So, how is this playing out? We've got about 500 cities and villages in Michigan. This slide actually is about 6 months old. We're at about 430 communities that are in the system somewhere. It's no longer 37 communities, it's more like 55 communities that have been certified. The other ones are going through the network. If any of you are familiar with the state, this question came up. Kara said, why aren't there any stars or dots up in the UP? And I said, you ever been in the UP? Okay? All right? It's kind of like northern Maine. You got cities and villages, but you got a whole lot of open space in between. okay? So you don't have too much going on, or not too many communities up here. But where the focus of urban communities are in Michigan are usually is in the southern lower area. What this is doing is this is driving the process of good place, good form, by good investment, predictability, all those factors I've been hearing off the tables today. It's such. It's a mechanism which reinforces and drives the system to change. This is my last slide, by the way.
Good.
Okay. Good. That's okay. Kara always says, Tischler, you always have too much information, you spend too much time talking, so that's okay. No problem. She gave me the floor, I ain't getting it back to her until I'm done with your questions. So, here's my comment question out to you. What do you think? Do you have any questions? Talk to me. I want to hear it. How does this relate, you think, or could some of this relate to what you might be doing here? I'll start there and we'll go here next.
So, just had a brief conversation here. It occurs to me that, when you put those standards in place, that's at the whim of the governor, right? Or whoever decision maker is around at the time. So we all know in Maine, there's a change in governorship a year ago. The standards that were to be met is probably quite different over, the last 8 years than it is now over the, year plus as well. So, as localities making decisions like that, it's sort of kind of a moving target. Just seems to be a hurdle. So I guess I wonder how it works, how it works for you, and what kind of continuity there is.
Great question. Excellent question. My start to tell you is that you're right, there are no guarantees. But the question, because we wrestled or addressed that question, was how tight can we wind this up so it can be really tough to unwind? So this whole system is underwritten by a comprehensive memorandum of agreement between all the state agencies and local units of government who participate. Michigan law, going to get in the weeds a little bit, has an act which allows for intergovernmental cooperation. If a community A executes an agreement with community B, they can share the power and authorities. So this, not closing on a 450 local units of government, they have all agreed as part of this that they've entered into the interlocal agreement with the state and state agencies. So imagine an agreement which has more than 470 signers on it, which means that it has to be unwound. It has to be noticed across all the 470 local units of government who are participating, plus the state agencies, and they all have to agree. Now, a new governor could say, I hate that, and I'm going to try to work that out. But that's going to be a heck of a lot of effort to try to unwind that collaboration. So, yeah, we try to figure out a way to ice this in, to go. One other quick point. There is no legislative statutes on this. This is all administrative execution between the governing bodies and the state agencies as well, which is another way of insulation back home. You may choose to do something different here or not, whatever it may be, but back home, what we decided to do, frankly, was keep this out of the legislature because of political whims. A new legislature could come in and it could say by majority vote of some party, we don't like this such and such. Yeah, they could do that here, as I mentioned, but they have to have a pretty stiff uphill climb because we have driven the process and the elements and the ethic and the actions so far into the works. Okay, let's talk about how do we unstick it. That's an interesting question to come. Right? Comment here. Question.
Does this presume a level of staffing that probably doesn't exist in Maine except in urban areas?
Staffing at municipal level?
Yeah.
They're referring to? Yeah, it assumes that you've got staff capacity, and if you don't have staff capacity, then what we have done in Michigan is
what do you mean by that?
Pardon?
When you say staff capacity, what is the assumption? Sorry.
The capacity question has to do with you have staff in-house at the municipality, village, town, city, in this case, to go.
Planner, what do you look for?
Yeah, you can, or a governing, or an administrative official, a city or village manager who actually does the planning work. Does this require a planner, a certified planner? No. Okay? But it requires some capacity to go. Where there are areas where there are no capacity, generally, about here, and you can see that that may be the case in northern, lower, and upper peninsula Michigan, just like I think in like in Missouri State. This is where the state, as part of our quid pro quo, says we got to put time and money into helping these communities. It's not just saying you meet it and we'll spend. No, we have to realize the state has a shade in the game as well. So what we did was we budgeted money and we brought in, retained the small army of planners that are out there in the states, which I think you have here as well, such as the regional planners and the regional economic developers. And what we have done is we've worked them through themselves training so they can be capacity assistance and support, and the state provides remuneration, not 100%, but remuneration to those folks. And what's happened there is that the regional planning agencies have essentially adapted all these standards and driven them into their regional plan review processes and such. It's systematic incorporation to go, meaning we utilize the resources that are available today and across the local, in Michigan, across the locals, units and regions and other players, there is capacity. This system harnesses them to work in uniform direction. Yes, sir.
So, for example, right, in southern Maine, people say that the governor doesn't really want to talk about larger projects going on in southern Maine, that she's more concerned with rural Maine, right, in terms of growing manufacturing, growing jobs, that there's a kind of a forgotten area of Maine that, you know, especially when people think of Michigan like Portland, but there's so much more to it. And it seems like the UP area on your map is very similar to that, to your point. So when you bring in like political will and other things, does this kind of create a real have and have not? Like, you know, we're just further pushing away like these forgotten communities because it's just there's a certain level of complexity or you know, that is just, it seems like tough. Is there even the incentive to go through it? Because they don't have the development projects to bring them.
It's a great question. It's the rural-urban issue that's what you're describing, and I recognize that. I remember that. You don't see it here, but if I were to show you the placemaking initiative and how we approach investments in place, the first thing you need to recognize is back home, we do not use rural and urban. Nope. That's a bad construct. Actually, rural, suburban, urban is a geographic, geopolitical construct that opens up and sets up for issues. The approach here, and in the place-based curriculum that underwrites it, we adopted what you would know if you're technical as the transect approach. But we swapped out the T's and the words and we put in place types to be natural, rural, suburban, neighborhood, small town center, major regional center. And we, even in these cities up in the UP, they are not rural. What they are small urban centers surrounded by natural or agricultural lands. Do you see the difference? And we structured our programs to be able to invest based upon the place type, not at community scale, but at neighborhood scale. Now, I'm not showing you the graphics, because Kara will kill me if I throw up more graphics. But that's a critical difference. And what we have found is that that disarms the political discussion. Because if you're little bitty Bessemer up there in Ontonagon County, you're going to say, man, if we're just issuing money and programs for big city projects in Detroit, then you can see that disconnect is going to be there. But the programs are designed to say, if you are a large urban center place type or a small city center place type, then these programs are available to you. Then Bessemer says, which they have, oh, yeah, we can apply. And we treat them in their small city downtown center or neighborhoods as if they are a neighborhood of one of the 350 neighborhoods in Detroit. You see the diff? Or you see the comparison? When you segment it that way, it equalizes. That's my point.
So would this, doesn't this still kind of leave, a lot of the problems that we're going through on these pages, a lot of them are cultural, right? It's the land of local control. There's a certain level of parochialism that, these cities have. Is there another way to approach this where you're going direct to the developer, right? Whoever stands to benefit from those projects and say, here are those standards, here's cheap money if you adhere those standards and then let them, I mean, maybe it's in conjunction with something similar to this, but, you know, where it feels like there's a level of kind of like middle management here that where it comes down to just how effective your local town government, city center is, and some are stronger than others, but it seems like there's a lot of variables there. But if you go strictly to, hey, people understand making money, and they want to make as much as possible, and if you can drive the same, outcomes where they're adhering to those standards, is there a way you can remove those variables, I guess? Is what I'm asking.
Laudable question, comment. Here's the danger in what you're describing, which is that if you're a developer who's ready to go into a community, but they're not ready, guess what's going to happen? You're going to fall down, okay? The need is to have a level of middle ground where the communities have to meet the bar, and if they know that, then the development community recognizes that they meet minimum standards, they can rely upon predictability in process and investment and building type and to go. So, but again, this is the quid pro quo as well. Developers have to recognize that we're going to invest money in those communities that are ready, which means they're ready, willing to work with developers. And if community A, this community over here doesn't want to participate, there's nothing that says you can't do it. You have to do it. It's just that you going into that community recognize that you might not be. They might not meet the standards that you might get a good widget.
Could you get tax cheap money from the state to the developer that will incentivize like the communities in the UP?
All of our incentives are tied to the system, which means that if you want public financing dependent upon the type of project, which is tax exempt rates in terms of public economic finance and such, it's all tied to this system. Okay, in other words, if you go into a certified community, then they are at first priority for a project, whatever that may be, technical or financial assistance for that program as well. But in other words, we decided not to do it on a program-to-program basis. We decided to set the platform and then tie all the programs to the platform. Yep.
You said by right several times.
Yep.
In Michigan, do you use by right to cut off public objection to projects? Here in Maine, we do a lot of what you just described until local folks get together and say, whoa, 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 we actually don't want that project, even though our town said we did.
Yeah.
So do you use by right to cut that off?
We never cut off public comment.